I've never met anybody that doesn't go, Jim Glasgow's getting it done. I mean, everybody, I don't know what his approval rate is. I don't even know if they measure it.
He's the best. Longest serving state's attorney in Illinois. So he's the best.
And the people in Will County served by Jim thank him for it. I don't know how long he's willing to do it, but I hope it's a long time.
I hope so, too.
It's already been a long time. There's a ribbon-cutting ceremony at a new home for Children's Advocacy Center. We want to talk about that and, of course, new Cook County State's Attorney and his opinion on various things because he likes to catch bad guys and put them away. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Steve. How are you?
Nice to have you back. Andrea's here as well.
Good morning, Jim. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to hear from you, Andrea.
Children's Advocacy Center, what is it and who's cutting the ribbon?
Well, it's been a long journey. Back in 1995, I was able to get the center open with the assistance of Silver Cross Hospital and St. Joe's Hospital, and ultimately a matching grant from the Department of Children and Family Services. The sad part about that is that I was the only person in government involved in the opening. And so now we've got everybody coming on board, and it's fantastic. I can't thank our county board and our county executive anymore. It's just amazing, the new facility that we have. It's 27,000 square feet. Our original facility was 3,000. And this gives us room to grow for the next couple of decades. We're hoping to add the service for senior abuse. That's going to take some time to get the training, but that's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and we didn't have the space to do it. But the new facility has 4 outdoor spaces for our therapy dogs and for the children when they come and the families to relax and decompress, and same with the employees. But our facility is really pretty amazing. If you guys are ever down our way, you should just take a tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just. But the Child Ad Center is so critical. We're interviewing over 700 children a year based on allegations of sexual abuse. And that's just a fraction of the number of children that are actually being abused, because many of the victims are told, if you tell anyone, you're dead.
Right.
You tell anyone, I'll kill your mother, etc. It's the most horrendous crime in our society today, the most pernicious crime. And the saints that work for me at the Child Ad Center doing the counseling, the therapy counseling, the family counseling, trauma counseling, that's absolutely irreplaceable. I had a case back in 1986 where I convicted a guy of an aggravated sexual assault on an 8-year-old girl.
Ugh.
And in 1995, that little girl came back into me as a victim, having been thrown out of a moving car by her boyfriend with multiple broken bones. And she just wanted to say hello because she remembered from 1986. But she didn't get any counseling. I won the case in 1986, but then we just sent her home. And she went back into the same horrible environment that caused the thing in the first place. We didn't have the resources.
No, and the cycle continues. That's why this is such an important development.
Mm-hmm. This has been a passion project of yours for years, Jim. And I know the motto of the center alone is perfect: hope, healing, and justice for abused children. And if I'm not mistaken, you started as part of this where children wouldn't have to go in the courtroom and testify, especially at such a young age, because that in itself is a trauma.
Yes, well, we do have a law in the books that allows a judge to allow a person to testify in another location by video. We have a provision now where we can have a therapy dog sit on the stand with the child. The dog can't be seen by the jury but again, it's a calming influence for the child, and it's there for the purpose of a calm and truthful and thorough testimony. So we do have additional resources like that to help us succeed. But many times when the defense counsel sees the video of the interview with the child, many times we're talking about a plea agreement.
Well, which is, because that's right.
Right.
Yes.
To put a kid through that. Well, good for you, man. Good for you. And the ribbon cutting is today?
No, it's April 8th. And ironically, that's when we're going to have the solar eclipse.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Everyone's going to remember this grand opening.
Well, they should.
Yep. Yes. Also, too, we should mention it's bilingual. It's family advocates are bilingual. So, reaches across, ethnic lines too.
Well, it should. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Let me ask you about what's going on in Cook County as well, because you state's attorneys know each other for good and for bad, and mostly for good, I might say. State's attorney's office is way, way, way overburdened. You predicted it way back when we started talking about the Safety Act, the backup that would be created that we're now seeing in real time of attempting to process all of these cases. Should somebody stay in? Should they not stay in? And it's creating a huge issue. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, back when I brought the lawsuit, when the first bill came out, we did not win in front of the Supreme Court, but because of the lawsuit, they sat down at the table and negotiated with us, and we fixed two of the major problems. The original law said, basically, no matter what, if you're detainable, no matter what crime you've committed, you shall not be denied pretrial release after 90 days. So if the prosecutor couldn't get you to trial in 90 days, you got to get out of jail. And then the ultimate kicker was the judge then did not have authority, if you didn't show up for your next court date, to issue a warrant. So those were deadly consequences. So we got those two things fixed, not perfectly, but enough that we can function. And so we're still going to be sitting down at the table trying to, come up with some additional amendments. And I'm hopeful with the new race in Cook County, Eileen O'Neill Burke, I can't wait to give her a call and congratulate her. She obviously, if you look at her track record as a prosecutor and a judge, she's a sensible and fair judge and prosecutor. I'm confident that she'll want to fairly enforce the criminal laws in an effective way and not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
And I say the baby out with the bathwater. There was a new law that was proposed by one of the Safety Act proponents that said police officers will not be able to stop cars until they reach 25 miles over the limit. They will not be able to stop cars with no license plates, and they will not be able to stop cars with tinted windows. And if they do, no matter what fruit of a crime is found, it will be suppressed. That is
ridiculous.
On paper.
Just ridiculous.
Don't laugh. That's on paper in Springfield.
I know. We talked about it when it first broke. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy. And you've been on too. And
the Safety Act are in there too. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm not against everything in the Safety Act. There are some good things in the Safety Act, but we've got to restore the judge's discretion. That's critical. And even the judges are seeing that now. And some of the appellate court judges saying these automatic appeals on detention are ridiculous. We don't trust our trial judges? So
why go through the process if you're not going to trust the judge?
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to you working across the lines with the Cook County State's Attorney, because many of Cook and Will County communities share borders, like Orland, Tinley, portions of Homer Glen. They're connected. They're interspersed.
Yes. And so, I'm confident that the new candidate from Cook County, again, I can't predict that she'll win the general election, although in Cook County, I think she's
got a pretty good shot
to do that. And again, with her background and experience, I look forward to working with her as part of the State's Attorneys Association. And as a representative of 5 million people, her opinion matters. Or will matter. So that will be a huge help to us.
It's Jim Glasgow, Will County State's Attorney, longest-serving State's Attorney in Illinois. For information on what you're doing, because the ribbon cutting doesn't end it, just starts it, how people can help going forward with the Children's Advocacy Center, where do they go to follow that?
I'll have to have Lisa Lask give you a call. I'm not good with the.
I got it. It's Will County.
Okay.
WillCountyCAC.org, and the ribbon cutting is next Monday from 1 until 3 p.m. Will County Children's Advocacy Center, an open house in Crest Hill. Wonderful. It's a wonderful facility.
And Jim, we don't need you to be tech savvy. Just make sure you keep catching the bad guys.
Hey, I want to just jump in with Birth to 5, because that's a new effort right now in the state of Illinois, and I commend the people that started it, but it's certainly not getting the funding that I would hope it would get, because if you look at, I was born in St. Vincent's Orphanage on LaSalle Street in Chicago, and my mother lied about how tall my birth dad was. So I was 6'2" at my tallest, and So they gave me a 5'6" dad from Joliet. He turned out to be a godsend. James and Julia Glasgow were two of the finest parents anyone could hope for. And so there, but for the grace of God go I. I was born homeless and an orphan, and I won the lotto right out of the box. So this birth to 5 thing is real, and we're completely dropping the ball. When a 17-year-old commits a horrible, violent crime, and during the first 5 years of their life, they weren't nourished properly, they weren't loved properly, they were abused, their brain has been damaged at the age of 5. And there's scientific evidence all over the place to prove that. There's millions of changes that go on in your brain during those first 5 years that are absolutely critical to lay the foundation for everything else you do in life. And when we blow that, sometimes it's not repairable. And so we should be, and you think about it, the first 18 years of your life is only a quarter of your life. So the other 3/4 of your life depend on those first 18 years.
And you get it wrong in the beginning. You get it wrong in the beginning, you're going to pay for it down the road, literally and figuratively.
We pay 10, 20, 30 times more for the remedial costs than we do for just if we would prevent it in the first place.
Good for you, man. Good for you for saying that out loud. Frankly, I did not know your life story and that to that level. And what an amazing tribute. And yeah, you won the lottery, but you did something with your life as well. You take care of kids from the worst circumstances from birth to 5. They've got a shot to maximize their life, and they won't have that shot if you don't.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, I was not a focused little child. If I didn't have good parents, I would not be where I am today.
Well, good for you.
Even close.
Good for you. And we need you.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. We're going to be at the Girls and Boys Club next week. I'm going to give them $10,000 from my forfeiture funds, and Terry Darcy, the mayor, is going to give them $10,000 because he's just one of the most benevolent.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's excellent.
So we bought them a van too, so that they could get the kids to different events. But that's the thing, is we have to be funding these types of projects massively, not just token. And so much of our money is wasted on other things. And, being lenient on the back end, that's not the answer. And I'm not saying we lock everybody up and throw away the key. But if you have a person who's violent, at 18 or 19 years of age, you can't ignore that. We have citizens that need to be protected. And, we can get as much remedial care as we can. But as we've just discussed, there's so much damage that's done earlier in that person's life that it takes massive, counseling and treatment to try to change their way of thinking. It's just, but the answer is right in front of us.
It is.
One last thing I'll throw out here to be completely off topic, Steve.
No. It's super important to say.
We've got billionaires in this country like we've never had before. I mean, we've got people with $200 billion. And if we could just convince them, I'm a total proponent of capitalism, but we've got to convince our uber rich to be more charitable. I don't want to tax them. I want them to be charitable. And if they do that, if they help us with this birth to 5, if they help us to rehabilitate communities, guess what? There'll be more consumers to make them more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The payback, it's like going to church where you go, listen, it's going to be the giving time now, but you're going to get paid back tenfold. Guess what? This is statistically provable that if you can step up. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you going down this road.
If you get me an interview with Musk or Bezos or something, please, I look at the city of St. Louis. Half of the city is poverty. Half is, very nice.
Sure.
And 250,000 people we're talking about. If you took $10 billion and went in there to rehabilitate, and I'm not talking about giving handouts, I'm talking about training people for jobs, getting them houses, getting them mortgages, giving them pride in what they're accomplishing, so that then they'll take care of this after we leave. That is possible.
That's life. That's not just life changing. It's world changing. Well, you're good, man, Jim. I appreciate it. Let me put you on hold so Tom can give you some information, And thank you. I appreciate him going down that
Thank
road.
you, Jim. Me too.
Because people in public taking a stand like that and talking about his own life and how lucky he feels he was and what he's done with it. Birth to 5. Demand your elected reps pay attention to it and take it seriously. All right, traffic update. What's going on?